Hey there, Kyle Sasser here, and it's everybody's favorite time of the month. That's right, market statistics times. These statistics are for Hillsborough County for August 2023. Now, to explain these statistics, we do have to kind of go over what specifically we are looking at. So we are comparing July numbers, because that is the most recent month that is closed, and we are comparing July 2023 to July 2022. And the reason we do that is because the natural year, those 12 months, there is a natural ebb and flow of homes being sold. So we look at year to year because that is a more dependable indicator compared to month. Since the market is kind of in a wild state currently, I do go into the month to month more, because it is kind of important to know where we're at and how we're shaping up compared to previous months. But you do have to kind of keep in the back of your mind that there is a natural shift just over that course of the year. And the obvious two things are wintertime, things generally slow down. Beginning and end of school year are also typically slow periods. So we're comparing July 2023 to July 2022. If you've been watching previous statistics video, kind of know the general consensus of what's going on, which is basically prices are back up after the late 2022 market die down, just to not put too positive a spin on it. But basically, end of 2022, last 6 months, basically not much happened at all so far as real estate goes. March 2023, buyers all came back and home prices have been rising. But there's been a little bit of a conflict because you would think with interest rates so high, they're 6.5% to 7.5%. It's kind of where they've been bouncing around. So with interest rates so high, listings actually growing, the number of active inventory actually expanding a little bit, you would think that prices would decline, but that has not been the case. So we've kind of been having those conflicting market indicators. Now, if you would like your own copy of these market statistics report to follow along with, there should be a link in the description down below. Go to the website. We have a PDF version, and we also have, brand new just this month, we also have just a web page version that you're able to access that has all of these charts and numbers and things of that nature. I try to provide as much information as possible to my clients, and this is a great way to understand what is going on in the market. Now, you might remember back to math class whenever we're talking about median and averages. So average is you would take the number of homes, let's say you have 10 homes. You take the price that those 10 homes sold for, you add them up, you divide it by 10, that gives you the average sales price. Median home price is a little different. So what median is that is the point in the market where there is an equal number of homes for sale for more money and for less money. So it's more of the midpoint of the market versus the average. Typically, I look more towards the median sales price to see what has been happening, because average sales price can be affected if there's a large number of very inexpensive or very expensive homes that sell. So for instance, if a handful of $10 to $15 million houses sell, that will have a major effect on the average sales price. So let's dive into these statistics for Hillsborough County. Now, the first 3 pages of this report is critical information. We do have the timeline for recent market shifts, but you came here for the monthly stats, I am sure. So total number of closed sales is down 15.1%. from 1,605 homes to 1,362 homes. Number of cash sales is down 42%, from 486 homes to 282 homes. Median sales price, this one is a little deceptive, so I'll go into the month-to-month numbers on this one. So the median sales price is down 1.7%, from $437,750 to $430,495. The trick with that median sales price number is that hides the fact that the last 6 months there was a big dip. And that is a trend that has, at least to the degree, that is not a recurring trend. That was an exception for the last 6 months of June 2022. So July 2022 was 437,750. Currently we're at 430,497. So we're slightly below previous year median sales price. But if we look at like January, February, median sales price dropped to $400,000 and held there for 4 months. Basically, in 1 year, home prices peaked at $437,000, dropped to $399,000, and now they're back up to $430,000 to $437,000. Last month it was $438,000, and we've kind of pulled back a little bit. And that's relatively keeping in line with kind of anecdotally what I've been seeing in the market. Average sales price is up 3.5% from $554,230 to $564,220. Total dollar volume, which is, I don't pay too much attention to, is down 12.2%, 768. Median percentage of original sales price, which again, this one I'm going to want to touch on the month to month, was 100% last year. And this year is down 1.5% to 98.5%. Now, if we're looking at that December, January, February number, that number dipped to 94.8%. So that was a full 2% less of the original asking price. Basically, you can just kind of see that surge in demand, like all of that stuff is adding up to, home prices being higher than they were. Median time to contract is up 112%. Again, this one's a little deceptive. Last year it was at 8 days. Currently it's at 17 days, which is super quick. The peak was 40 days in February. The midpoint of the market was taking 40 days for a home to go under contract. And we have since shortened back up to 17 days. For those hoping for a buyer's market, you don't usually hit that until you get to like 45 to 60 days. So we got kind of close there for a month at 40 days, but it has rapidly retracted back down to 17 days. Total number of new listings was down 31%. Now, this is where things get funky. This is where things get funky. So total number of new listings was down 31% to 1,656. However, we only sold 1,362 homes. So we are not selling as many homes as are going up for sale, but median sales price is still climbing. That's why, we're kind of have some conflicting information here. Total number of active inventory, which is everything that is for sale on the last day of the month, was down 29.5% from 3,487 to 2,459. And that is a significant drop in active inventory, but we have been building since March. We had a peak of like 3,700 homes active in November. And then we dropped all the way down. April, we were down to 2,200, and now we've added another 200 homes for sale. Again, typically you would think that building inventory should be stagnant median sales price or even slightly declining median sales price, which I guess it has done slightly, but can't call it a trend, and that's definitely not what it feels like on the ground showing houses and putting offers in. Foreclosures and short sales, the doom and gloom section, as you know I like to call it. So number of short sales was 0 compared to 1 last year, and foreclosures and bank-owned sales was up 22%, which sounds like a big increase until you realize it went from 9 homes in the entire county to 11. Now, I do like to break things down by the price point because the truth is a home that sells for $250,000 to $300,000 is going to sell in a little bit different time frame than a house for $1 million. And the reason why is just primarily it comes down to the buyer pool. Currently, it's a bit of impacts from interest rates and things of that nature. Total number of closed sales were down across the board, except for $1 million or more, which was up 23.9% to a total of 114. Just some other examples, 200 to 250,000 was down 23.1%, total of 30. 250 to 300,000 was down 21.4%, total of 66. And everything's around like 15 to 23%. Primarily the reason why on that $1 million or more is just compared to historic numbers, there are more $1 million plus homes. So naturally you would expect for that to just have more sales. Whereas the other price points have had a long enough time with sliding up into that new price category that's not unexpected to see fewer sales in each of those categories. Doesn't mean that demand is necessarily down. It just means that compared to last year, we're not selling as many homes in each price point. Median time to contract is basically up significantly, which again, not unexpected. Now remember, we did have, we were down into like the 1 week territory, which is super quick. We went all the way up to 40 days, which is basically neutral market, getting borderline buyer's market. And now we're back down to 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 days. So 250 to 300,000 is 14 days, which is an increase of 16.7%. 300 to 400,000 is at 16 days, which is twice as long as it was last year. 400 to 600,000 is up 112.5% to 17. Total number of new listings are basically down across the board. Just no matter what the price point, there are fewer homes getting listed for sale. But we are still listing more properties than are selling, so total inventory is actually building. But for example, the 250 to 300,000 price point is down 40.7% to only 70 new listings. 300 to 400,000 is down 33.8% to 468. 600 to a million, it's down 27.9% to 302, and a million or more is down 16.4% to 127. Total inventory by price. So what this is the last day of the month. We basically pull every active home in Hillsborough County, and then we split them out into price categories. And again, basically down across the board. There was no active inventory under 150,000 in the entire county. Nothing available. 250 to 300,000 was down 58.1%, total of 67. 300 to 400,000 was down 40.4% to 502. 400 to 600,000 was down 30.4% to 901. And 600 to a million was down 15% to 546. And a million or more held relatively steady at negative 1.3%, total of 391 homes for sale. Now, I want to go a little bit more in depth here on just kind of the stats, big picture, what we're looking at and all that stuff. Basically, there's two markets. We have homes that are in demand. Those are selling quick. Then we have other homes that are either not in ideal locations or have something else going on, or maybe they're just overpriced. Those tend to be hanging around a little bit longer. That's the only thing that really makes sense so far as why we're building inventory, even because we haven't had a surge in new listings. Buyer demand has come back. We do still have some properties that are hanging around for sale. Because I would expect with, especially Pinellas County, with that movement in median sales price, I would expect time to contract to be much, much, much lower. And you can also see that there's some division with the price points as well, but not enough to really be noteworthy. So now I kind of want to get into big picture stuff. So I want to give you some historic perspective, kind of like new listings and what's been going up for sale for basically the last 10 years. So 2013, we put up 1,909 homes for sale. 2018, we put up 2,174 homes for sale. 2022, we put up 2,400 homes for sale. 2023, we only put up 1,656 homes for sale. That is a big drop in supply. Number of sales in 2013 was 1,467. 2018 was 1,989, so it went up. 2022, we were down to 1,604, and this year we're down to 1,362. So, and this is not just true in Hillsborough and Pinellas County. These general trends basically show up across the country. And primarily, there is low inventory everywhere. Now, if you look at a snapshot of number of new home starts, that is basically down everywhere. So if you look at the chart, you will see the Great Recession, and then you will see basically in the Great Recession, builders got wrecked. They had inventory they couldn't sell, and the number of new home starts plummeted. We'll put a chart up here so you can just kind of follow along. So absolutely plummeted, and then it has only been a very slow climb back out since. And my rough estimate, just looking at this, is we are maybe back to 1990s numbers on the number of new home starts. Meanwhile, there's a lot more people in the country than there used to be. Back in 2006. The rough numbers that I saw from the census was about 30 million people. And this is across the entire country. So the question I always get asked is, when is the market going to drop? The answer is, we've already had a drop. We had a retraction. We had 6 months of last year where I was begging people to go look at houses. It was a phenomenal time to buy a house. I was negotiating $30,000 price reductions and getting a ton of repairs on top of that. That shows up in that median sales price or percentage of original list price received number. You can see that it dropped from 100% down to 95%. So that was a phenomenal time to buy. But as you can see, when we just don't have the supply, any sort of demand coming back leads to rising home prices because there's not enough buffer there to keep things stable. So what's the fix for that? A lot of people think that, demand was going to get crushed, which it did for 6 months. I can tell you the number of buyers are back. They are definitely different buyers than they were before. Current buyers are definitely not looking to pull out all the stops, making like crazy, crazy high offers for moderate demand housing. But there are buyers, and that is moving the price. You would think that with interest rates being, 6.5% to 7.5%, that would do it. You would think that inflation would do it, even though inflation is more of a consumer mindset affectation on real estate than a numbers perspective. When we're talking about inflation in real estate, if you can get a loan today on a property, but you know that you're going to have high inflation for the next 2, 3, 4 years, you're actually saving money because you can pay for the mortgage using tomorrow's dollars, which you will have a lot more of due to inflation. One actual slight benefit of inflation is that it makes long-term loans effectively cheaper for the person paying the mortgage. Also, Florida, huge increases in property taxes just with where the prices are now, and also homeowners insurance has doubled or tripled in a lot of cases, and people see these things and they are still buying houses. The only thing we can surmise from this is these things are not going to kill demand, and barring some major economic catastrophe that brings its own alternate set of problems, usually you can't get a loan is the main one so far as housing is concerned. All of the factors are around that should be keeping demand down and prices stable or even slight decline. And that is not happening in the real estate market. And the reason why is because the supply is so short. So the fix, and to use a metaphor, think of it like the hot toy at Christmas. I'm old, so I'm not going to use the examples that I always hear. Cabbage Patch dolls. I also remember Tickle Me Elmo's, Furbies. Past that though, I don't remember. Leave me a comment below for your favorite toy fad. But so the fix, so if you have like the new hot toy comes out, PlayStation 5, that's probably the best recent example. So very short supply, gets released at Christmas. They sell out at the stores. There's not really any available, so prices tend to go higher because you have to be willing to pay a premium to buy a PlayStation 5. The fix for that is not making PlayStation 5s more expensive. The fix is pumping out more PlayStation 5s. The supply is what solves that problem. So with housing, we need to fix the supply problem to stabilize prices and, kind of eliminate this whipsaw, effect that's going on. The downside with that is, one, real estate takes a very long time to build. Tract builders, which can usually build it quickly, they're usually 6 to 9 months. And, we also have some labor issues and stuff going on. So single houses take a long time to construct. And multifamily, whether we're talking about 3plexes and 4plexes, or even large-scale condo and apartment complexes, which do help to solve this supply problem. One, those also take a long time to build, sometimes years. In the case of large-scale condos and apartments, that can be a 5-year process. We have a very long lead time to get those built. And the secondary problem is most people don't want those in their neighborhood. Just homeowners of single-family homes typically do not want multifamily built next to them. Whether it's right or not, that is the overall impression. And that's probably what this solution is probably going to have to be, because we would have to build so many single-family homes. And there's a lot of irritation and pushback on the suburban sprawl developments. Just people don't really want to turn, the current existing green spaces into planned developments and single-family homes. And honestly, the time lead on that would be so long to effectively build that many houses that it's not, I don't think it's a feasible plan. So if we're looking at when's the market going to crash, barring some major economic catastrophe, supply is so tight with so few home starts that we are probably going to be like this for a while. like years, I would think. After having looked at these numbers, it feels like it's going to be this way for a very long time. So far as staying on the fence or waiting 3, 4, 5 months, maybe there will be a crash there at that point in time. I'm seeing absolutely nothing in these real estate statistics that would indicate that. There's definitely some areas that are lower demand than others. Also, I will say that compared to the peak of 2022, it's a lot easier to buy a house now. It's not the crazy free-for-all. Houses are not receiving 20 or 40 offers. If there's multiple offers, it's usually, 2 or 3 or 4. In rare cases, we'll be up around like 7, 8, 9, 10. But there's been plenty of other cases where they just don't have other offers. The market's a lot different than it was in 2021, 2022. It's more relaxed, but you do have to expect to have some difficulty finding a place. The price is probably not going to be too appealing to you. There's nothing really in the statistics here that shows that there's going to be a downturn anytime soon. Basically, what we have done is prices have come up, and now it looks like they're holding, or in the case of Pinellas County, actually accelerating. So thank you for watching the monthly statistics video here. My name's Kyle Sasser with KW St. Pete. Would love to help you out. Would love to help you find your own great place in Tampa Bay area. There should be a contact me link down in the description below. Feel free to click on that. You can book a call at a time that works best for you. We will have a conversation about what you're looking for and how best to go about finding it. Other than that, hope you enjoy your day, and I'll talk to you soon.